Buying a home in Ottawa just got a whole lot easier, and if you're a buyer, you're holding all the cards. Ottawa's market has felt impossible over the past few years, and I know a lot of my clients were missing out on bidding wars with low inventory, rising prices, but now things have taken a drastic change. You actually have so much power with the amount of inventory that's out there. It's just finding the right one and making it all make sense. Obviously, prices are cooling and inventory is rising, and that depends on solely on every different area. But I always say, as a general, you can see lots of good inventory. The big thing is that it's all changing now. We're seeing a lot more inventory come on the market. We're seeing prices cool off a little bit, especially in certain areas. Obviously, there's some areas that are still very, very hot, but buyers finally have leverage. Today, I'll break down all the Ottawa Real Estate Board stats, show you why buyers are in control, and the top 5 neighborhoods to find the best deals. So, taking a look at the market snapshot, we're at roughly 715,000 for the average price point, down 5 to 7% year over year, which means thousands of dollars off asking price. The other big thing is we have a lot more options. So we have 4,500 new listings hitting the market, which means more negotiating power. Sales volume is also down between 6 to 8%. Supply over demand means buyers are in more control. Now, for example, if you show, I showed a client 7 homes in one day. 2 sellers were motivated, 5 were firm on what they were looking for, but there's options everywhere. So out of those 7, 2 are ready to sell and are maybe potentially going to get a really good deal. So why has the market shifted? So obviously we've had more inventory hit the market, and what that means is buyers become more cautious. So once there's more choice, buyers become more cautious, which gives an imbalance. So the seller to buyer ratio is quite different. For typically before, it was for every seller, there'd be 5 to 10 buyers. Now it's for every buyer, there's probably 6 to 7 sellers, right? So that is where the imbalance is, and we're kind of flipping from where we were a few years ago. Not completely. Obviously, again, I'm going to repeat this. It's depending on the area. Some areas do not have that much inventory, and there's still a high demand to be in there. But most areas are being affected by the large supply. Another big thing why the market has shifted is higher interest rates and economic uncertainty. So we all know the economy is not in a great place, and the rates are much higher than they were a couple of years ago, but those were unattainable rates. I don't think we're going to see those rates ever again. And the current rates are much better than they were a year or 2 years ago, but they're still comparatively high, while prices have not really dropped by the same amount that they raised. So keep that in mind. That's a huge portion, and overall affordability is a big one. The prices are lower, like I said, but they're not much lower. We're not back to 2019 prices. We're still floating on the price points. We went down for 2022 in the peak, and we're down from that, but we're still at pretty high price points comparatively. And, the buyers aren't rushing to jump on properties as soon as they see one, right? Sellers are having to compete for their buyers' attention. Now, how can you use this as a buyer in your favor, right? So number 1, negotiate smartly. Many homes sell under list price, and, the first offer is the start of a conversation. It doesn't mean it's your best and final, but as a seller, you also need to be aware that buyers have a lot of other options to look at, right? So either price competitively to be sold quickly, or if you're going to be waiting, be prepared for some lower offers than asking price. And that's the big thing that I'm seeing now is that buyers are understanding, okay, I have the choice of these 15 homes. Okay, one sold, sure. I still have 14 homes to choose from. I'm going to pick the one that I like the most, and I'm going to offer what I think is fair. And maybe the seller doesn't think that's a good price, but every offer is a starting point. It doesn't mean it's the end all be all. Just because you start low doesn't mean you're willing to pay a good value for it, because that could be, the good value could be market value, and that in turn could be a really good deal or slightly under market value, right? It all depends on the seller's motivation, but you have to start somewhere, and starting low doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And for sellers, just because somebody started low doesn't mean they're not willing to pay for the right property. But keep in mind, buyers do have a lot more power than a seller right now. There are a lot of options out there, so just be careful. And as a seller, if you see a good offer come in, don't just turn it down. Work with the buyer to see if you guys can come to a mutual agreement. Obviously, another one is conditions are back, so don't be afraid to put your conditions in. Typically, on every home, I'm putting in a finance condition and a home inspection. So those are 2 very important ones. The finance condition is really important because we want to make sure that the home is appraising for the value that it's worth, and you're not stuck with that home once the appraised value comes in lower, which means you're going to have to make up the difference in down payment, not just overall payments. Obviously, home inspection is going to completely protect you. So if you see anything wrong with the property, or the inspector points out, hey, there's mold here, hey, that's missing this, it's missing that, those are huge things where they protect you and protect the asset that you're buying. Now, the third one is take your time. I always say there's no rush, but be ready to act if the right property comes available. So again, take your time, look at all options, but if you're focusing on an area that you really, really want and the right home comes up, don't be afraid to jump on it, because you might not see one for a couple more months, right? And sometimes rates might change, your overall affordability might change, all that stuff. So again, be ready, but don't lose out. Now, if you're looking for really good deals, I would say focus on, if you're an investor and you want a good deal, you got to focus on high inventory areas. So condos, townhomes, suburban pockets, like those, that's the areas where you're going to be getting the really good deals, because there's, if you're looking at a townhome in any of the suburbs, there's 30, 40, 50, 60, who knows? There's tons available. And if you're looking for a certain price point, you might be able to get that really good deal, right? Now, here's my top 5 neighborhood deals that you can get. So number 5, I'm going to put Canada Lakes. It's very family friendly, great schools, but higher end homes are cooling down in prices. So if you're looking to get a higher end home in the Canada area, this might be your time to jump in. Number 4 is Orleans, and this is where the move up buyers are hesitant. So people that are going from townhome to a smaller single home, or smaller single home going to a large single home. Homes are sitting longer, so negotiate. If you see any of those where they've been on the market for 60, 90, 120 days, that's where you have the power. Number 3 is Barrhaven, and here we're looking at the detached and semi-detached homes. There's tons of inventory there, and there is opportunity for buyers, so jump in on those. If you're looking in the Barrhaven area, a detached could be around the corner for you and could be an opportunity for you. Now, number 2 is a little bit different than the last few. This one is Centertown and the Glebe. If you're looking for condos, this is probably the best area to be looking at, because you're so centrally focused. There is quite a bit of inventory in terms of condos, and if you want to have something long-term to hold on to as a condo or use it as a rental, this could be a really, really good opportunity for you. Number 1 is going to be Riverside South and Finley Creek. These areas are getting a lot of suburban growth. A lot of builders have a lot of properties available there, which means the sellers are eager and there's strong deals. So whether you're looking for a new build or you're looking for a resale property, these could be some really strong deals, especially if you're looking for detached homes in those areas. You're probably going to be finding a deal because there's lots available, and you want to negotiate really, really strong there and get everything you can out of these properties. Now, to conclude, buyers, the frenzy is gone, pressure is off. Time to take your time, look through things, negotiate, and find the best deal for yourself. If you want insider tips or want to go through the market and select the area that you're really focused on, book a call with me below on the free link, and I'll see you guys there. If you like this video and want to see more like it, follow, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.